Like I've interacted with many artists. Personally, I'm also an artist, and the artists I've interacted with, utapata tu there is this period of time that they will take a break. Like yani, they will take a break or stop but for you, since I knew you, you've been so consistent. So I'm just curious to know where this motivation is coming from. Like what is pushing you, and when did you start art?
Sometimes an artist, you feel like the world is going to an end, and maybe when you wait for someone to praise your work, it's so tough, and you just have to love what you're doing, and sometimes go out, detox, and then come back.
I think at some point yenye nilifika nikaona like cycling didn't love me back hadi nikatake a break for some time. It was a time yenye nilienda kucycle off road na nilianguka na siku imagine mimi naweza anguka.
This podcast is brought to you by
Hello guys, welcome to today's hello everyone, welcome to today's show of modern day Campire. I'm here with
Martin Sambia.
Denzel.
Oh, sorry for not introducing myself. My name is Mulekani Whitney. Yeah, and welcome. Let me hand it over to Sambia.
Thank you, Mulekani. Today we decided to kill two birds with one stone, and we have the psychologist in the show, we have the activist artist in the show. And maybe before we start, I'm just curious to, as you can see, kuna many interesting painting here. So, and there is a nice question there. Kuna this question which is asking, can art save the world? So maybe in your opinion, Denzel, do you think art can save the world?
Yeah, on my opinion, art can save the world because I feel like without art, there's no truth. And art reaches people deeply into their hearts and also through the power of storytelling. And I think art and activism can save the world. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Denzel.
Yeah.
And for Mulekani Whitney, instead of being like, it's not instead, despite being a psychologist, I also know you as an art enthusiast. So I'm just curious to know where that is stemming from. And also, maybe Denzel can tell us, Pia, where his art journey, like, is began here.
Okay, let's start on my end because it's just briefly. I'm a psychologist, as you've all heard. So I have an interest in art, though I'm not an artist by hand, unlike you guys. So I believe on my end, it takes one to capture whatever is right. Like if I have a look at something, I'll know like this thing is worth it. Like it's something that's worth everyone's eyes, and it's a quality piece of art. You get? So I think that's how my love for art started, and I think for me, it's because I would love to do it by hand, but I can't. So when I see someone's work, it's much better, and I know that person is addressing whatever I would have addressed if I were the artist by hand. You get? So, and another thing, I'm a psychologist, and we also use art in psychology for various aspects. Yeah. So, can I name the aspects? Oh, yeah. So, like in psychology, let's say we can use art for various things. Like art is used for healing. We can say maybe when Denzel was making this piece, I believe these are the mountains. So in an area where it's hard for someone to express their emotions through word of mouth, you can use the paints and the brushes. So they go a long way. Emotions will flow because it's also determined with the choice of color that you use. So many people underrate the choice of colors that we use. So a choice of color, if you give someone all the different types of colors that you have, and you tell them to decide to choose one color, their emotions at that point will make them choose that color, because there's something called color psychology. It depends. With if you choose red, it will bring a certain definition at that point. So it can be used in areas where you don't want to express your emotions verbally, and it can also be used to pass out a message. You get? So there's a way I can want to express my feelings to you, but I can't tell you physically. So you can also use art, and it's also used to bring change, peace amongst everyone. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's a bit broad, but we'll stop from there.
Thank you for that, Mulekani. So for Denzel, like I've interacted with many artists.
Yeah.
personally, I'm also an artist, and the more like the artists have interacted with, utapata tu there is this period of time that they will take a break, like yani they will take a break or stop, or but for you, since I knew you, you've been so consistent. So I'm just curious to know where this motivation is coming from, like what is pushing you, and when did you start art? Okay.
Yeah, first of all, I'll talk about psychology and art because I feel like art is a form of healing and also meditation. So people who are suffering maybe from mental illness, when they use a certain kind of palette to create art, they feel maybe uh, the stress has gone away. And my journey started when I first joined Ubunifab. This space gave me resources and also opportunities, and also they believe in my work because when I joined Ubunifab, I didn't know anything about art. But when I got the resources and also the support from the staff there, I just began my journey and learning also from different kind of environmentalist students and also youth that are there. I feel like I just wanted to grow my art not only as part of aesthetic and also as one art that tells stories about the effect of climate change. And that's what is pushing me to continue telling stories about my community, my people, and my story. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Denzel. And man, you're doing a good work. You are really doing a good work. So this is a space that Denzel has designed, and we just personally, we would like you to tell us something about this piece here, because it really catched our eye. And yeah, if you don't mind, kindly.
Yeah, the motivation behind the painting. This painting was something like a symbol to me because when I was in Sweden, I had an opportunity to meet Greta Thunberg, and her dedication and time and also her youthfulness in fighting for climate change and environment just caught my eyes. And I saw her as a figure, a public figure, where if she can use her creativity to bring change, and also I also want to be maybe like her and also follow the path that she's trying to capture. And this painting, I did it just for remembrance because I feel like as a youth and seeing and being part where I met Greta, I feel like my heart is fulfilled with what I'm doing, and this is what motivated me to come up with the painting. Yeah, and I didn't do it, the painting alone. I did with another artist from Creative for a Heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. And before I hand it over to Mulekani, I know she has also a lot of questions for both of us, I guess. So, like you've mentioned Faraja Artbeat.
Yeah.
So, what does it entail? What does it advocate for, or what is Faraja Artbeat?
So, Faraja Heartbeat is an initiative that mostly uses the soft power of art to capture and also to create murals in my community. And these are youth-led initiative that use murals to spread awareness about climate and social change in my community. And I am the founder. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that. Uh, you mentioned that your inspiration started when you joined Ubunifu. If you can remember, when was it that you joined Ubunifu? The year specific.
Yeah, I joined Ubuntu for 2023.
2023.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's last
Last year,
year.
yeah, last year.
Oh, okay. This is good being that you joined last year. Okay, yeah, it's nice. Another thing you mentioned that mostly, is it that, if I'm not wrong, is it that you focused mostly on art related to climate and your community, or you're just diverse in terms of anything?
For now, I'm focusing on environment
On
because that's the
environment.
field that I feel contented with, but I can explore other different forms of art. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll go to the first question. Which are the places that your art has taken you, be it you alone or the people you are working with? Because you mentioned here you also worked with someone. Yeah. The places that art has taken you locally and internationally. Maybe these are the spaces that one day you didn't imagine that you would fall onto these platforms. Yeah.
I'll start with I was part of 2023 youth exchange program where I had a privilege to go to Sweden to collaborate with different kind of youth who are from different region of of the world, and this opened up to me to different kind of activism. And also this month I was part of the team that went to Tanzania for a climate justice camp, and this has opened also my perspective on how I can use my art to tell stories of people even if I've not been on their country, because our stories also connects together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And like, what have you noticed? I know there is a culture difference in different countries. Like the art that we are pursuing here in Kenya is not the same as the one we are pursuing in maybe in Tanzania. Yeah, or even this is a certain concept I interacted with. Like what happened in 2019. 2019 we were facing police brutality, but for Kenya it was yani for what was happening in America, what was now for racism, police brutality toward racism. What was happening in South Africa was for different classes, and what was happening in Kenya was for journalism. So I know like the maybe climate is one topic, but maybe we have different like addresses when it comes to climate in different countries. So I just want us to tell us like what are the culture differences that maybe you encountered, ama kuna this artwork you took there alafu ukapata they're going through climate but it's not the same climate as ours.
So Martin, on your question, being meeting people from different countries, and also I feel like climate change is a big topic that affects most of the people, and most of the artists that I've met they're just using their art to tell stories, either they're through dancing. Maybe the different thing is about their cultural dancing. Yeah, that's the different thing mostly, but also the language, so you speak the language that your people understand, and also that's universal language. So that's what I can say, because art transcend language barrier, and you can speak to someone who's not maybe in your region, but you can speak it through art. Yeah, either you're singing, you're dancing, or you're acting, you're using poetry. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Denzel. And like one thing I love about you people, yeah, like you always engage in act of service. And maybe the last podcast we had with you, Whitney, you said something like kindness goes a long way. So like, and what Denzel is doing is serving, yeah, you're serving your passion outward. And Pia, I would just like you to expound on that if you don't mind. Like for someone who doesn't, in a layman's language, kindness goes a long way. Like what do you mean by that?
Okay, previously when I mentioned that kindness goes a long way, I think it applies on all fields, on all platforms. Yeah, if we you don't have to overthink it, but being kind generally, if we can have the meaning of kindness, being kind. Okay, on my end, I can say that do to others whatever you don't want. Do to others whatever you want to be done to you. You get, so don't do to others whatever you don't want to be done to you.
Yeah.
Being kind is generally just uh, accepting that person or a situation as it is, then just treat that person equally, if even equality is a word, you get. So kindness comes from you and goes to the other person. It's like charity begins at home. Kindness begins with you yourself. If you're not kind with yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, of your body, you won't be kind to the other person. And also being kind to yourself, to your body, it can be how you treat your body, it can be how you view your body, it can be how you accept your body. Many people, we can say an example of many people face body dysmorphia. You see, when you face body dysmorphia, you are not kind to your body, and you'll always have negative thoughts and ideas about your body. That means you're not being kind to your body. And we can also see another thing: we need to take care of our bodies, because our bodies are the ones that sustain us. So your intake, whatever you give your body, is whatever your body will give you out. So whatever you consume, the foods, maybe nutrition wise, whatever you consume, hiyo ndo kitu yenye ita sustain your body. So if you know that this and this is not healthy, yet na consume, eventually my body won't act right the way I want it to act. So that means that I'm not yet being kind to my body for it to give me whatever I want. You get. So And another thing, apart from your body, it comes from you to the other person. So if you're kind to yourself, you're kind to your body, you'll find that you're giving out the kindness energy. It just comes automatically, you get. Like, plus other things we don't need to learn. Other things are no brainer, and other things, even if you've grown up in an environment that this and this is done, it reaches a point you need to unlearn certain things because you've interacted in this world. You know that this is right and this is wrong. Yes, right and wrong is different from you, it's different from you. But honestly, like, just do good. Let me say, if good is relative, just do good. So if you're kind to yourself, you'll be kind to the other person. Yes, I know, like, expectations are the ones that kills us. Yes, I can do this to you, maybe I expect you to do that to me because I've done this, but at some point expectations inafaa tu kuwa zero. Expectations inafaa tu kuwa zero. Yeah, let me be kind to you without expecting anything in return, because even in a room there's always someone watching, so whatever good you do won't go that way unnoticed or something. Yeah, I'm hoping I've explained kindness. Yeah.
You have. And here you've made me curious to another questions, which I'm going to throw it to all of you. Like, and it's about love. And love, my definition of love is doing something without expecting anything in return. So I will just like to get maybe a definition of love from all of you. Then I'll be having a follow-up question. So what is the definition of love to you, Denzel? Then Mulekani.
To me, love is giving out what you have to someone who doesn't have, and also sharing your gift. I feel like that's love for me.
Yeah, okay. Love to me, I can say it's more of a feeling that comes on how you'll express yourself physically. Yes, you'll have it inward, so but how you express it physically, it's what shows that this is love. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And the follow-up question is like, it's clear you are very passionate about art. It's clear you are very passionate about cycling and psychology and also art. Okay, so I just want you to share with us, like, what was that moment that you felt like maybe art didn't love you back, or what you're passionate about didn't love you back, and how did you know that it didn't love you back? And maybe what was your go-to activities?
Yes, Denzel.
Yes, Denzel. Yes. Love, art didn't love me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes an artist, you feel like the world is going to an end, and maybe when you wait for someone to praise your work, it's so tough, and you just have to love what you're doing, and sometimes go out, detox, and then come back. Yeah. So when you're a creative person, you just have to have some space away from what you're doing and just see how the world it is. Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you detox?
Um, I have a medal here, and I'm a cyclist too. And
Oh, thumbs up for that. Okay, we needed to know that.
yeah, so I also advocate for cycling path, and this helps me to detox away from my art and have some fun on the road, meeting new people, yeah, and building a community around cycling. Yeah, cycling is also a type of meditation where you just have to be free and move where you're going. Yeah. Thank you, Mulekani. You deserve it all, okay?
Umuliza, at what point did I feel like my hobbies didn't love me back?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Okay, if I start with cycling, Denzel is also a cyclist. Let me say, accidents do happen. Yes, tuna expect accidents. Kwanza hata ukianza kucycle lazima accidents they happen. Alafu another thing, while you're on the highway, it's a risk. You're taking a risk whether you like it or not. I think at some point yenye nilifika nikaona like cycling didn't love me back hadi nikatake a break for some time. It was a time yenye nilienda kucycle off road na nilianguka na siku imagine mimi naweza anguka. Siku imagine naweza anguka, like si ati mimi ni beginner, acha beginners waanguke, but really how comes naanguka, na it was so bad. I think iliniscare for some time juu sikurudi to cycling for about a month hivi. Hata ilikuwa like nikicycle near pebbles inanipea anxiety fulani. So I think that point ndio nilifika nikarealize like ilinihit at some point kiasi like maybe cycling didn't love me back because it also took me some time to go back to it. But anyway, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Alafu
That's powerful.
yeah. Alafu okay, cycling and also I can say mental health. I do counseling psychology, and I think being my field, if I can answer your question, Martin, whatever point I've reached and I felt that it didn't love me back. You can't be your own doctor. Yeah, everyone experiences different emotions. Everyone has like let me say everyone experiences something whether we accept it or not. We cannot always say that we are mentally okay. So I think for me on my end ni ile yenye inafika point like maybe you're not okay, and to some people it's hard to share, and someone will expect, oh, since you're doing psychology, so some notes good some someone notes so some notes good. So it's so hard for a doctor to treat himself. So I think hizo ndio places where it's so hard. As much as I know this is what I'm supposed to do, but someone else doing it for you the way you do it to someone else, it comes a long way other than me kwenda kusoma notes, yeah. But all in all, it's been great. Yeah.
That is, thank you for that. That is well put. And maybe we can engage in a conversation. So you can just any one of you can ask anyone something they really, really want to know about someone. But while you are brainstorming, maybe personally I'm very into the topic of love because that is what makes the world go round. These corruptions that we are hearing, it's stemming from hate, you know. Yeah, discrimination is stemming from hate, racism, police brutality, poverty, and many other things. Yeah, so for mental health, we are just here to spread love, loving one another. So my question is,
Yeah.
how do you allow something or someone to love you?
Mulekani.
Okay, how to allow something or someone to love you. But it's very important because we might say that give love, but we're also forgetting you need also to receive love. So if I can dwell maybe in one of my hobbies, let's say cycling, how do you allow cycling to love you back? To answer you, Martin, I can say for me, allowing cycling to love me back is where the motivation just comes automatically. Utajipata tu nimeamka 6 ama nimeamka 5:30 mimi I'm on the road. So this is where cycling loves me back. Alafu unapata whatever comes afterwards is whatever can portray that this is love. Maybe you can be in a race then mmeshinda race or kuna medals mmepewa kama hizi za Denzel, or you've achieved your target, the target that you had set for yourself. So I think that I can say it's also part of my hobbies loving me back, despite me loving my hobby by purchasing the bikes and going for it. Yeah, that can be a way of it loving me back. Denzel.
To me, being authentic to what I'm doing as an artist, I feel like I first must love myself and also love my work. So when I love my work and I love what I'm doing, I find a community that love me and love what I'm doing, because you can't please everyone, you know. Not everyone can be in your team, you know. So there's some people, when they see what you're doing, are passionate about it, you love it. So the most thing that make them to be part of you is maybe that love, that what you're doing. You're telling stories about people who are being affected and they don't have the voice. So that's love, you know. Love to me is about speaking a story of someone who is not there, or also listening to the stories of these people, that what are they going through in my community. That's love for me. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I hope you have a question for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you find yourself doing cycling?
In the cycling field, yeah, even the team that I have, it's purely gents. I'm the only female in that group. So ni vile most females don't cycle, or even if they cycle ni wachache tu at some point, but mostly utaona ni gents ndo wana cycle. It's an advantage, it's a disadvantage pia. For me, I can say for me cycling started a way back when I was still young, and nikiwa mtoto nilikuwa napenda sana kucycle. Na nilikuwa nataka sana kubaiwa bike niende kucycle. So it started tu hivyo. So the kids wenye walikuwa privileged kukuwa na bike, so we used to cycle with them. So I just told myself that one day I'll get a bike. Then the day came and here we are. So I grew up with the cycling love, yeah, cycling mentality. I grew up with it, so that's why I'm still pushing for it. And I can say even working with gents as a cycling team, it's an advantage, more of an advantage, because they won't treat you as a lady, like watakwambia like acha tukungoje. So it's up to you to match up their pace. So ni wewe ndo unafaa kuwafikia. So it's more of a target, it's more of a good challenge and a motivation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. Oh. Labda uko na swali. Okay.
Oh yeah, a question today.
Maliza. Huo kijana.
Oh, you kijana. You've said mostly art with climate and mostly art in line with climate. So are there any problems that you face within your workspace, be it internal problems kama maybe anxieties also, or maybe external problems? Yeah, what are the challenges that you face here in your space?
Starting to feel emotional and I don't know that.
It's a free space. It's a free space.
No,
Safe
okay.
space.
No,
Safe
okay.
space.
First of all, I can say lack of maybe resources is hindering me and also most of the artists, because in this space I find like most of the artists who are coming here, they're like, we doesn't have the resources and we need to do art like you, maybe, you know. So that's the first challenges that I face onto that. But I've learned how to, what the word can I use? I've learned how to cope up with, yeah, by also supporting my initiative. I'm supporting the kids who are passionate about doing art by selling my art. When I sell my art, I use 20% of my sales to go and support buying the resources and supporting the kids who are doing this. And also the next challenge is getting your, maybe building a community as an artist, finding the people who love your art and also are really, they really want to support what you're doing. It's really tough, but when you get the community supports you on what you're doing. So as an artist, when you face these challenges, you find like build a community around what you're doing, and this community can be mentoring what you're doing and also can be supporting what you're doing, and that's really pushed me from these challenges to get what I want as an artist. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Maybe if I can pose one question also, like of all the pieces you've worked on, what's the hardest piece you've ever worked on, be it in terms of hours, products zenye unafaa kununua, na ugumu yake ilikuwa nini?
One of the most challenging art I can say was for United Nations. You know how tough it was with like acquiring resources, getting the right people to work on. You know, Martin, even I contacted you that time. I was really into anxiety at that time, and I'm really stressed because I wanted to give a good piece that can be seen by the world, you know. And that's the most piece that I find like it was so challenging. But I thank God that I got the right team that supported me on doing this. And also there's a piece known as The Girl on the Front Line. So this piece is about a girl sitting on a desk, and then the background I've attached with some papers, also some papers from the book that I collected during the floods. And this art really speaks to me because I feel like this is my first story that I wanted to create about how girls are being affected by the flood, because most of the schools were carried away during the floods, you know. And what I feel like was love, because I saw it as one of the pieces that was Greenpeace Pictures of the Week, you know. And also when I was telling the story, another doctor came and told me that she wanted the painting to do a certain project, and I'm glad that the painting was sold. And yeah,
that's good.
Congrats, man. That's good.
you deserve all.
And you have the video, right?
Yeah, I have the video.
Yeah, you'll share with me. Ndaiweka hapa hivi overlay wakati you are saying that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that, Denzel. And my other question goes to the two of you. Like, I just want you maybe to share with us, like, what is the merit that you are measuring the success of the things you are passionate about. So maybe you can tell us maybe two things you are passionate about, and how does its success looks like in your.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like success or the merit that I see doing my work is like the milestone that I'm going, and also visiting places and also working with different people. That's the success that I'm measuring, that I know my work is being seen by people, and also getting some good feedback from social media, from the people I've never met, but they've interacted with my work. That's the success for me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. For me, I'll dwell on two, cycling and psychology. Okay, for me, success in cycling will be measured by my improvement. We usually have a target, maybe let's say distance, your average speed, and the time that you're supposed to accomplish. I think with time, well, you improve, you do better than last time. That's a success to me. Alafu, another thing is me matching up with the level of the gents, because there's more power in gents like female when it comes to cycling. So I think matching up the power is also a success to me. I might not be the first one amongst the gents, but the fact that I finished the race with them is a win. Alafu, another thing, when it comes to psychology to me, success will be measured in terms of I can be able to assist anyone who is not mentally okay, be it directly or indirectly. I can come to you, we are just having a random talk, but deep down, we are addressing whatever maybe stresses you've been having. And the fact that you come out of there productive means a lot to me. The fact that you see like, nilienda nikaongea na Mulekani, as I at least na feel better na at that point you huku kuja na hiyo idea that unakuja kuongea na mimi, we're just having a simple talk. Also, even if it's directly, maybe you come to me like we are addressing an issue directly, then it's addressed, it's also a success. But also chances of the issue not being solved are also very high. But the fact that you tried, I think it's a win. Yeah, I can say that's a measure of it.
Thank you for that. That is well put. Thank you for both of you. And I'm going to pose another question. And this question now, I just want us to look ourselves, just, I wouldn't say beyond our success, but just putting what we are passionate about out, like maybe putting our ego outside. Just Denzel, just Whitney. If you're to describe yourself in 3 words, fully based on values, like what will you say about yourself?
3 words. I can say kind, love. I don't know if love is kindness, but
Loving.
okay, I can say kind, love, maybe justice. I think that's what I can think of right now. Yeah.
To me, first of all, is love. Say love, loving what I'm doing. Apart from art, me, okay, love and also patience and kindness. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, okay. To you, Martin, I think you can also describe to us in 3 words what describes you, apart from whatever you're doing.
Apart from whatever I'm doing. Okay, for me, I guess it will be more of a repetition of what you've said, but I will consider myself as a loving person, and as a someone who is someone who puts in the work. Like, yeah, despite, so I would say I'm self-motivated. I have that kind inner cheerleader in me who always makes sure like I do the work. Like, let's talk and enough of the work. And another thing, I would say I'm a considerate person also. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay.
So when the swali bado ni hapo.
Okay.
So I've seen you doing consistent work with Campfire, and what are some of the challenges you face, and also what keeps you going? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Modern day campfire. Okay. So for modern day campfire, uh, just the name modern day campfire. So it is something that I came up with and the whole intention was I just wanted to come up with a you know that aspect of the campfire, the way it used to be. This is where people used to get vulnerable and allow people to love them. Like you'll say, this is when big things will be mentioned, or worst things, or the best gossip will be mentioned there. So, but I wanted to do it in a modern way. So that is why kuna this aspect of microphone, and yeah. But the whole point of it was to advocate for mental health and personal growth through visual arts and talks. And the main reason I chose mental health, it's because I came to understand that life is all about like life is more mental and less physical than it appear to be. Life is all about the mental, like it starts with the mindset. And when you are good upstairs here, trust me, you can attract everything, or everything will just fall into place. So that is what I'm advocating for. I'm just trying to come up with a community where we can all try to view life in a certain beneficial way. And I feel like that will just create an impact even in our personal life. And I'm hoping that it will go as God wants it. Yeah. Yeah. The challenges now, I would say, the challenges is sometimes, like at the point we are in life, like we tend to get instant feedback. Those are the likes, views, subscribers, and many other things. So when I was starting, I would say my focus, like I that is what I used to measure my success with, and it wasn't turning well, and I wasn't motivated. But what I came to understand, you have to put it into the ground, and you have to create an impact. And that is what like me knowing that now it's beyond the challenge. I'm not playing a victim past that, but earlier it was really, really a challenge because it was very discouraging. You doing the same thing, always getting the same result. It was very, very discouraging. But since I've find out some other ideas of creating an impact, and that is where the focus is, I'm just appreciating, and I'm even more and more motivated. And you're going to see it in different spaces with different people and different types of impact. Yeah, yeah, that is all.
Yeah, okay, I don't know if you've answered this, but what gives you the motivation to have your work out by every week? I think you do it weekly.
I do it
Yeah,
weekly.
what
Yeah,
gives you the motivation, and maybe how do you acquire your interviewees?
interviews.
Yeah.
Okay. The motivation is the experience, what I get to experience, because today we are in a very, very, I've never been here, and we've never been the three of us plus today we are with a relative of one of us here, and it is an experience of its own. So most of the shows I normally try, it is sometimes like what will come out there, it is what is recorded there, but it is always more than that. I get sometimes to keep tags of the people who I saw like the last 10 years. Kuna those friends, like for Mulekani and for Denzel, we've been into spaces, but us being here today, like it's past the relationship we've been having into those places. So those experiences are what motivates me, and also just getting to sit down with people and coming to understand that they're just normal like us, because sometimes for social media sometimes might interpret things. Like you might see someone maybe with their work, their success, and you get a different whole idea of them, not until you have a conversation with them and you come to notice that, man, we are all human. And for modern day Campfire, like it is here to always remind me that we are always human, and inanifanya ni face life in a different way. I guess that was the first question. The other question was, am I supposed to do that?
I think you've answered that. So
Okay.
kabla niendelee kuongea mpaka kesho, I think I just ask the last question to all of you. Whether your platform is good to connect with a lot of people, and I think different experiences zimekuja through your platform. So like you're doing a good job, and I think as much as motivation comes from the interaction you're having with us interviewees, it also comes from you yourself, because it's through your platform that we've met these
Those
amazing
people.
people, amazing artists like he deserves it all. Okay, the last question I'll ask both of you according to your spaces that you're in and whatever you're doing, you modern day Campfire and you as an activism. So what is it that makes your work stand out, Ju? Anyone can come up with an idea like yours, anyone can come up with an idea like yours. So what is it that makes your work stand out? What do you feel makes your work stand out?
Maybe you can start. Yeah, I would say uniqueness. And uniqueness is what is bringing the aspect of authenticity. Like the way I started small. I really started with what I had. And I feel like that is what, on a personal level, the fact that I'm able to track that growth, because when I started, there was no microphone. When I started, I wasn't using a good camera. When I started, there was no stand. When I started, I wasn't in a position of even collaborating with anyone. I was doing it on my own. And like that is on a personal level, looking at where I came from, and it has been almost a year. I started it in January, and it was something that I was looking forward to, and it was a project for the year, and I'm just hoping by the time the year will be ending itakuwa inafika place nataka. But trust me, everything has been magic. Everything has been magic. Yeah, I'm always in a point of curiosity. Like even when we were coming here, I didn't have any expectation, and that is what it is making it unique. Expectation in terms of like, I've seen things that maybe discourage other people maybe to come up with their own podcast. Unapata maybe expectation like they're going to pay this amount for the venue, they're going to pay this amount for the photographer, they're going to pay this amount for foods, they're going to like, maybe it is so monetary, it is so directed towards monetary, to a point you might fail to focus on the work. But what this podcast stands out for, it's the work. Like it's fully about the work. I'm not here maybe to put out the luxurious life or anything, but just the work and the impact. And I feel like that authenticity, it's what is making people to subscribe to it and people to believe to it. And also how I get interviewers, just people just believing in it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, to you, Denzel, what makes your work unique?
I feel like there's nothing that makes my work unique because I'm just telling my personal story. So maybe that's what keeps me apart, because I'm not only creating art just for aesthetic value, but also telling us stories, you know? Like let's say like Campfire. Campfire is about telling stories and building a community, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm encouraging people to use their creativity to tell stories about what they are being oppressed to, what they are feeling. You know, stories create empathy, and empathy creates change. Yeah.
I think the fact that you're telling a story through art is also unique in its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if you have another question.
Are we giving the last remarks, or we just
Okay, it's okay, it's okay.
like the host must finish then?
Okay,
Then
so yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for the audience for that, for your never ending support. You're part of the reason we are here today. So maybe Mulekani, you are very kind, man, and very supportive, because like Mulekani was supposed to come here, and I was also supposed to come here, and Pia, we were supposed to do another video, like, but with all aspect, it's why we are doing this together, all of us. So man, I commend you for that. That is a dope thing, and thank you for also your, like, because Pia Denzel has opened many spaces for people. I've gotten opportunities to put out my work because he's very aggressive enough to a point. He normally comes back for us, and that is a good thing, and I really appreciate for that. So maybe as we are closing, maybe you can your few remarks here, and then we will call it a session.
Okay. Few remarks as the supportive friend to both of you.
very supportive.
Very supportive, very supportive. Okay. Yeah, it goes a long way. The same way I've said kind of goes a long way. It's also both ways. So I believe the fact that both of you have been kind to me, it's how it's given back to you guys. So plus Martin, I've said like your platform has been good, engaging and impactful. Like it has just created a lot. And I think the ideas ndio zinasaidia pia for it to grow, because nikipata an idea nitakuwa like, oh shoot, hii idea nafaa kuambia Martin. In fact, alafu the first time I saw Denzel, the first time I saw his art, as I've said, I can't do it by hand, but I just saw his art. In fact, hata nakumbuka there's a time I saw his pieces, then he was selling it, niko like, but your work is so good and you're selling it at a low price. Mpaka niko like, art is expensive, but it deserves, because iko na kazi mingi. But Denzel does a good job. You can see he does a good job. So akona, you see the way they say the power of pen and the paper, like there's power in these hands, and he does a good job, and I know he'll go places. He has already gone, he's already gone places, so to more places. So thank you all, it was nice.
Yeah. To my visitors, I say I'm so humble for you to visit my space. It is like a starting point where I am. And to Martin, I feel like we're just doing the same thing, but we're just telling stories, because like now you listen to my story, maybe Mulekani stories, but using visual, maybe. But I'm also creating stories through painting, and I'm so happy on what you're doing right now, and I'm so humbled to be part of the Campfire today. To Mulekani, you deserve it all. Mulekani, you deserve it all. Thank you so much for coming with another friend. And I know you have just built a community again. Knowing people is so nice, and I love how you always comment to my post and also supporting my work. Yeah, I know. First of all, when I met the Kani, she was really tough. She was like, but coming to know her, it was so nice. And thank you so much for coming here. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, Manze. Yeah, and also I want to shout out to my artists and the artists that I've worked with. I know you're not here, but you're always here with me. And thank you so much for supporting what I'm doing. And also, thank you so much for being part of my community. And I encourage you to continue pursuing your skill, using your art to tell stories about hope, love, peace. The world needs artists. And artists, I mean poetry, I mean songs, I mean dancing. I call upon you. And also to the community that really are passionate about art, I encourage you to walk our journey together. And thank you so much for being part of Creative Faraja Art Beat and Denzel Activist.
Thank you.